Capitalism is not fundamentalist. Despite what the Communist Party thinks, the capitalist effigies of state and liberalism are in fact a commandment. So, if fundamentalism exists under capitalism, they are withdrawn to sociality of parchment. So parchment is a participle of capitalism, but is not the expression of absolute values. So if absolutism is a committee upon a state, the dictatorship of God is a compilation of ethics and morality. While morality doesn't exist solely for the purpose of community pooling, it exists for the sake of supplementing ethics towards substrate. So morality isn't a substrate, it's the anti-substrate. It's the fact that spirit exists alone for no faction beyond itself. So if ethics is to occur, not only do materiality have to invoke between master and slave, there is no slave anymore, but the masses. The masses are the supplementary program of morality. So if morality is connected to ethics, there is no virtue because virtue exists solely dependent upon morality and morality alone for the sake of ethics. If ethics is to regard itself as anything but a pragmatic philosophy between deciphering who invokes the destiny and invocation of the absolute, absolutism is rejected and supplemented for spiritualism. So spiritualism doesn't regard itself as nomenclature. It regards itself as commercial. Commercials are spiritual. They are maternity and liberty to every invocation of thought. Because they reject between two sides of a narrative, the narrative is in promise of a object. And that object doesn't need to be a commercial object, that object has to be a trade object. So trade objects are moral because they don't prerequisite you towards anything. They are a priori functions. They are the ethics as is and as stated. So if a compacting of objects occurs, the object is commonplace to each and every indivisible unit of plethora. And plethora is egoplex to each function of thought because functions divide in each sermon as if they were promuted. So if you promute something, you are indivisibly taking it as a ideal and supplanting that with its inverted opposite. So the opposite is true of a supplanted object, but not only that, the object no longer exists for itself, it exists for the permutation of itself. So it exists separate on analog and digital. So if digital is a requisite for action, action inverts and supplements with ethics. And ethics is moral to the extent that nothing exists to serve the community pool. So there is no function apparatuses. Morality doesn't think in functions. Ethics thinks in matriarchy, meaning it maternities the object to serve under morality. So, since ethics is objective and not in subject, it is the essence of objectivity because essence does not comply. Essence is in service of morbidity to function as state and apparatus under law.